Hey guys, so today you and I are going to talk about promotions. So let's get into it. So the question in question was, hi Frederick, if you were in a company where all the team members equally contribute to a project success, but many members didn't receive promotions, stocks or bonuses due to how the company is run, what would you do in this situation? Well, I would look at my market value. I would look at my contributions and how they stand in proportion to everything else that is going on. Because the thing is, I don't believe that there is usually such a thing that everybody's is contributing equally. It's something that we like to mentally think of. It's something that we humans do in order to be able to live in a herd. Basically, we all have to have some type of value. Everybody's equal and stuff like that. And I have this when I've had a few drinks with a few of my friends. I always have the same conversation, and we've all never really had anybody find a contradiction in my statement. If everybody is equally of value, if I ask you to push your mother or a pedophile over like a ledge or something, or put one of them in prison, who are you going to pick? Okay, not maybe not a pedophile. Let's not take a pedophile. Someone you really don't like. Like there's always a layers to things. It's the same thing when you go to any place of work. Have you ever been in any place of work where you could say that yes, everybody in this team has done exactly the same amount of work? People have are different, guys. There are different people are at different talent levels, engagement levels. You are different spaces in your places in your in your life. Maybe you're going through a down period, but you have peaks in other areas. Like there's all these nuances to this sort of statement, at least in my opinion. But what I can tell you is what I usually do when I deal with, or my mindset, when I deal with a company. So one of the most frustrating parts for me with software engineering is this idea that we have within most industries, which is sort of this. It's the root of what you've just talked about. This is a manifestation of that. You have this idea that every worker is equal. So when you hire, say, a construction worker, or you go to a doctor or things like that, a lot of us think of these people as equal. But if you think about your own work, and you think about, in this case, software development, you will probably know that some people are really, really good at software development and some people are not so good. Yet they have the same title. So the difference between the world's best senior and the world's worst one is very measurable for most people. But if you don't have the skills to evaluate it, which is one of those key factors that I've always talked about in the past, guys, that the success of your project doesn't just come down to you. It comes down to who is running the show, who are they hiring, or do they actually know what type of people you need in the company. And so when I am in a company, I am trying to be a team player, but I'm also trying to know what contributions, and I track these contributions as well because of something that's going to happen to you as well. And that is when you go into the yearly performance evaluation. Usually there's a yearly by after 6 months or something like that. 2 years, once or twice a year usually. And what your manager is going to do then is that they're going to drop that pretense that everybody's equal, pretty much. And that's why I tell people you have to understand the difference between what we say and what is reality. And reality is that you are being evaluated both as a team player and as an individual contributor. Now, due to the fact that I know that, I make sure that the contributions that I have made are visible, they are measurable, and they are also something that is value building, or that has value in the eyes of the person who is holding the bag of money, or my boss basically. The reason why I do this is because of the same reason any company has promotions and why they have these special bonus programs and so forth and so forth. They want you to understand the value of their services and their product. I want to do the same thing with my manager, because when things like this happen, it is usually due to that the company has taken a stance that and this is very common, guys. In many cases, you'll see that they have like like career ladders and all these sorts of systems that come basically down to that they want to be fair in the way that they distribute, stocks and promotions and things like that. The reality is that that is just a way for it's just a framework that the company is using in order to more or less not have to deal with the sort of office politics that would be entailed in the classics, where one person has the same job as somebody else, but they make vastly much more money and things like that. This is another way to like combat corruption and favoritism and all these other things. But the problem with it, as you probably noticed, is that when you're trying to basically democratize or use this sort of like everybody's equal mentality, well, what happens is that that only really benefits the people who are low performers and average performers, but it does not benefit the people who are high performers. And so I try, and I've gone through most of my career trying to be a high performer. So my biggest challenge usually in situations like this is to prove to my manager that the contributions or like my salaries or like so forth, whatever we're talking about, has to stand in proportion to to what I have delivered. I'm fully aware of that every single person is part of a team when we work in software and so forth, but there is also possible to measure individual contributions and individual innovation, creativity, initiatives, and things like that. And these sorts of topics are usually things that every single company wants to see. And when I see that behavior is being rewarded, I usually don't have a problem with these sorts of things. But when this happens, the thing that you are talking about, then I have to ask myself, am I in a company where being a high performer matters? And it's most likely not the case that it matters if you are if you truly are a high performer. If you're not, as I said, then there can be 100 things that can be going on here, because you might even overestimate your contributions or the way that people look at it and so forth. But the main thing to figure out is, does this company that you are working for reward high achievements or contributions? Is it even feasible? Can you even get a promotion in this company? It's a very valid question. I've been in companies, guys, where it doesn't matter if you're the best. You could be the best of the best of the best, and it doesn't matter because the company only views you as a unit of a software developer. Therefore, promotion is basically down to the same thing that usually happens. How long have you been in the company? Do you drink coffee with the right people? So what I want you to take away from this is that the way that I usually deal with situations where I'm not getting a promotion or so forth and so forth is that I evaluate I make sure that I know that I have made contributions that go above and beyond, so that I have a strong case for promotion. And then I make sure that my company, like my managers and so forth, actually know about these things, and that these are things that they can concretely say, yes, you have done these things. And then I listen to their reasoning why I don't get a promotion or things like that. If I see that they are stalling or things like that, usually, as I said, guys, it has to do with that IT, like many companies, guys, it's not just in IT, they have a promotion model that is not optimized for high performers. It's optimized for fairness and battling corruption and battling favoritism and all these sorts of things. Everybody, quote unquote, is equal. Now, that is a system that is, in my opinion, very, very detrimental to the motivation of high performers. And so what I do in that situation is that I basically ask myself, all right, can I go and look at something else? A classic one I usually do, and this is I've done this a few times now. It's just this system. You can do it yourself. You do it yourself. What I basically do is that when I finally get, because it usually takes a little while, these conversations about promotions and salaries and things like that, the managers usually drag their feet on this, in my opinion. So what I usually do is that when I have gotten a concrete answer that no, we can't do this, or like there's some resistance, I feel like, yeah, they're probably going to drag their feet on this discussion, then I immediately start applying for new jobs at the same time. And then I do a race. Like, either they are going to give me my promotions and the dues that I am due, like they will render onto me what I am due, or I will find a job with better perks or better salary or something like that, and whichever comes first is the one I pick. And this works, at least for me, that way I know I can stay honest to myself and not get into that mind space that some people do, where you stay in a company just because it's very safe and it feels good, like it feels known and stable and things like that, but rather you're always trying to make sure that you get awarded in accordance with the contributions that you feel that you have made. Have a great day.